which Mortal Kombat roster is the best of all time? This was hands down the hardest decision I ever had to make for a top 5 list in Mortal Kombat. Yesterday, Ed Boon went on Twitter and asked, which is your favorite Mortal Kombat player select screen? I know my favorite, video by Shinox. I commented my favorite pick and Ed Boon liked the tweet. So stick around towards the end to see which roster I think is number 1, as well as the tweet that Ed Boon liked. In order to make a fair top 5 list, I separated these into 3 different categories. The first being roster, the second is design, and finally at number 3 is soundtrack. Starting us off at number 5 is Mortal Kombat 9. The roster was perfect, a solid 5 out of 5, taking all of the classic Mortal Kombat characters and even including Quan Chi, Ken Chi, and introducing new ones such as Cyber Sub-Zero. The design was okay, I give it a 3 out of 5. It wasn't anything crazy, it was more on the safe side, just kind of default. And the same goes for the soundtrack as well. Sure, it was a nice, safe soundtrack that got you hyped to play the game, but it wasn't anything crazy or unique compared to the things that we've heard before. Oh man, these next 2 were really tough. They were neck and neck. But I'm gonna have to say, coming in at number 4 is Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. The roster was okay, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. Not the best roster that we've seen out of all the Mortal Kombat games, it was in the middle. Now the design on the other hand was one of the most unique character selection screens we've ever seen. Very vibrant, we had fire on the bottom, the background was purple, it was insane. And the soundtrack as well definitely matched the tone of Deadly Alliance. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. At number 3 is Mortal Kombat 2. Like I said, Deadly Alliance and Mortal Kombat 2 were neck and neck. For the roster, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. You can't go wrong, it's all the classic characters, a huge step up as well from Mortal Kombat 1 to Mortal Kombat 2. Now the design was a 3 out of 5, obviously it's nothing compared to what we've seen nowadays, but the character select screen was just kind of bland. The soundtrack is an instant 5 out of 5. Every time I hear Mortal Kombat 2, I hear that soundtrack playing in my head on repeat. At number 2 is Mortal Kombat Deception, which is crazy to think. I was thinking it was going to be at number 3, but somehow it ended up at number 2. A hot take here, but I do think that Mortal Kombat Deception had the best roster out of the 3D era games. I know, it doesn't make any sense since Armageddon gave us every single character to ever exist, but sometimes I don't think more is better. And it's gonna get a little bit confusing later on, but you'll see why. This is another hot take, but I also think the design is a solid 5 out of 5. I don't know if there's some bias coming into this or not, there probably is. I just feel like the design, roster, and soundtrack all fit perfectly in Mortal Kombat Deception, which is a very dark game. One thing I love about the design of the roster is the background. Take a look at how the clouds are moving in the background. It kind of reminds me of Tekken 2, which was actually my very first Tekken game. You can definitely see the similarities with the character select screen on Tekken 2 and the character select screen on Mortal Kombat Deception. And soundtrack, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Yet again, another soundtrack that follows the theme of Mortal Kombat. And before we get into the number 1 spot, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and also comment below your favorite character select screen. At number 1 is Mortal Kombat Trilogy. You can't beat it. There's literally nothing wrong with the roster, soundtrack, and design. Complete 5 out of 5s all across the board. This is the game I commented on Ed Boon's post and he liked it as well. Now I don't know what Ed Boon's favorite character select screen is, but mine is definitely Trilogy. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the video. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, make sure to hit the subscribe button and comment below which is your favorite character select screen. Click this video right now if you want to know who the pro players think is the most annoying character in Mortal Kombat 11.